Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first Wednesday. And if you are here early, thank you for joining us so early. I'm so happy to once again be here for First Wednesday with Rayceen Pendarvis on YouTube Live right here on the Team Rayceen YouTube channel featuring moi. And who am I? Of course, I am Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions MC and producer. And we have a lovely show planned for you this evening. Now, before our show actually begins, let us do a little bit of plugging because we like to plug, we love a cute shameless plug. So let us get into that. So, first of all, I want to say, please join Rayceen Pendarvis for a special Facebook Live and YouTube live events throughout the end of the year. Of course, the first of these is Music Mondays with Rayceen Pendarvis at 12 noon Eastern on Facebook Live. And of course, you can go to Rayceen Pendarvis's Facebook to find that, and that is facebook.com/Rayceen.Pendarvis. And of course, Music Mondays, we get into music trivia, we get into, the tea about music. Sometimes there are interviews with guests, sometimes there are games and more. And we get really deep into music. It's different every week. So make sure that you join Rayceen for Music Mondays at 12 noon Eastern on Facebook Live. Tantalizing Tuesdays with Rayceen Pendarvis at 11 p.m. Eastern. Every third Tuesdays monthly. And so the next one will be on October 20th. So make sure that you join us there. We are nominated for a Best of KDC award, which we're very happy about. It's always a pleasure to be nominated. And hopefully we win. Hopefully we win. So we will see when that comes out. But make sure that you join us on October 20th for the next edition of Tantalizing Tuesdays with Rayceen Pendarvis at 11 p.m. Eastern on YouTube Live right here on the Team Rayceen channel. And, we have all the other editions of Tantalizing Tuesdays right here on this channel as well. So you can go ahead and watch those and get into that if you want to see what we have going on in Tantalizing Tuesdays and to see why we've been nominated for a Best of KDC award. So go ahead and join us for that. And then on Wednesdays, make sure that you join us for Read a Book Wednesdays weekly at noon. Make sure that you join us for that weekly at noon on Rayceen Pendarvis's Facebook once again, because reading is what? Fundamental. Reading is fundamental. And so we definitely want you to join us there at 12 noon Eastern with Rayceen Pendarvis. Now, of course, we want you guys to come to our first Wednesdays, definitely. And we have one tonight we will be discussing, of course, local politics and voting and the presidential election. And we will have these things running right throughout the end of the year. So join us for all the events that we have on YouTube as well as Facebook Live. Now, of course, please subscribe to the Team Rayceen YouTube channel. If you're here right now and you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do that. We want you to like, we want you to comment, we want you to share, because we are doing interviews daily. And subscribing is totally free. So if you have a Gmail account, subscribing only takes one click. And our videos include interviews, they include vlogs, so much more. And new content is added every week. We have content added every day, actually. Multiple videos per day with, different interviews with artists. We have interviews with activists. We have interviews with singers. We have interviews with journalists. We have interviews with politicians. We have specials. We have forums. We have so many different things. And, the election is coming up. And if you are out there and you would like to know more about the individuals that are running to represent you, whether it be in your ward, in your district, if they're running for the School Board of Education, if they're running for ANC, whatever it may be. If you want to know more about the individual that is running for your for anything that you're involved in, if you want to know more, go ahead and check that out. You can go to our general election nominees and candidates 2020 playlist, and there you can find interviews with almost everyone that is running in the District of Columbia, and you can make that decision for yourself if you're not yet aware of the candidates that are running. Of course, just like, comment, share, subscribe, and we look forward to all our new subscribers here on the Team Rayceen YouTube channel. We also want to make sure that you guys follow our social media at Team Rayceen on Twitter, at Team Rayceen on Instagram, facebook.com/Team Rayceen. If you want to keep up with what next we have coming up, of course, you can go to our Eventbrite page at teamrayceen.eventbrite.com. And once again, I love plugging our YouTube channel, because if you're here right now, just press subscribe and go ahead and do that. We encourage you all to follow us and to keep what we're doing going, because we are really trying to not only entertain but educate while we are here. And if you would like to support us and support what we do, you can volunteer with us. So you can go ahead and email teamrayceen@gmail.com. So because the Ask Rayceen show is on hiatus, we will now take this time to thank our 2020 sponsors. First of all, we want to thank the wonderful co-presenting sponsors, the Human Rights Campaign. For more information on them, you can go to hrc.org. We also want to thank our legacy sponsors. Legacy sponsor, DC Homers. And you can go to dchomers.com to get more information. And you can also buy some wonderful, they have pins, they have fans, they have so many goodies. And it's really with that wonderful DC Homers brand. It's so great. So go ahead and support. And you can also follow DC Homers on Twitter and Instagram at DC Homers. We also want to go ahead and thank our Platinum 2020 sponsors, Whitman Walker Health. For more information, you can go to whitmanwalker.org. We also want to thank another Platinum 2020 sponsor, Bite the Fruit. For more information about Bite the Fruit, go to bitethefruit.com. Another Platinum 2020 sponsor we'd like to thank, One Woman, Many Voices. And that's especially important as this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and therefore One Woman, Many Voices speaks out about domestic violence, and they are there for domestic violence. So you can go to facebook.com/onewomanmanyvoices.org for more information. Next, we'd like to thank our Bronze 2020 sponsor, Jaywalking Productions. And you can also find interviews with Jay, head of Jaywalking Productions, right here on the Team Rayceen YouTube channel. For more information, go to facebook.com/Jaywalking Productions. Once again, that's facebook.com/Jaywalking Productions /. Another Bronze 2020 sponsor is Comfort Zone. And you can find more information about Comfort Zone at www.comfortzonemd.com. Once again, that's comfortzonemd.com. And on behalf of Team Rayceen Productions, I also thank our production sponsor, AHF Pharmacy. Thanks so much for what you do, AHF Pharmacy. For more information, go to ahfpharmacy.org. Now, if you would like to support us by sending a donation, our Cash App is #AskRayceen. Once again, our Cash App is Ask Rayceen. You can also, if you want to support, you can also send donations to PayPal. That's askrayceen@gmail.com. Thanks so much for all the donations. Much appreciated. Now, if you want to give a donation of $10 or more, you can receive a Team Rayceen face mask, of course. So with your donation, you can also receive a Team Rayceen face mask, and wearing masks are very, very important. You know, we're seeing what's going on in the world. We're seeing what's going on in this country. Wear those masks. Wear those masks. And so if you want to help to promote Team Rayceen, you can snag one of these masks as well to not only be safe and promote mask wearing, but also promoting at Team Rayceen. And of course, we would be really, really appreciative of that. So thank you so much for that. You can also follow me on social media. It's very, very easy. My name is Krylios, as I've said before, and you can follow me on Twitter at It's Krylios and on Instagram at It's Krylios. Now, you can also find a link to all of Rayceen Pendarvis' social media at rayceen.com. If you want to follow Rayceen on Twitter, that is at Rayceen HRH. HRH stands for Her Royal Highness, because Rayceen is, you know, goddess, queen, mother, all of that together. So follow Rayceen on Twitter, Instagram at Rayceen Pendarvis, Facebook, facebook.com/Rayceen.Pendarvis. Also, we want you to know that you can find the link for the Black LGBTQ community survey at Rayceen.com. Now, this survey ends October 30th, and it's really, really important that we have people do this survey. It's very, very important because, you know, this survey, participation in this survey informs LGBTQ organizations, universities, you know, fundraising opportunities, all of that about what matters to the LGBTQ community. So these decisions are very, very important. And the data from this will help, you know, Black LGBTQ people in general for a long time to come. So go ahead and do that survey. Once again, it ends October 30th, and you can go to Rayceen.com to find that link. And, you know, send the link to your friends, email it to your friends, share it, you know, text it, whatever platform you're on, send it to your friends so that they can also go ahead and do the survey. So the survey link is also included in this video's description. Now, I want to welcome us all to First Wednesday, October 7th. And of course, it is my pleasure to introduce the host and moderator for tonight's proceedings. Now, if you don't know her, you better know her, because we have the goddess of DC herself, the one, the only, Rayceen Pendarvis.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Oh my goodness, we got a full night, honey.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have a full night. So great to see you, Rayceen. I mean, I've been seeing you all day, but it's great to be here with you this evening to do First Wednesday. Always a pleasure to be here. So great. And tonight, we're talking about really, really important stuff. We're talking about voting, talking about the elections. It's an election year. The election is less than a month away. Wow, I mean, it's a big one.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be emotional.
It's a big one, yes. And you know, not just the general elections, you know, or local politics, so important because they affect us directly. Right in our communities, right in our homes. These local elections are so important. Rayceen, talk a little bit about voting in the local elections and how important they are this year.
They're so important because when you vote on the local level, it affects our schools, books for our students, street cleaning, for example. Folks, pick up of your trash. Also, so many things, voting for our ANCs who represent in different wards, ANC councils and wards in DC, voting for the DC City Council, voting for the school board, voting on many levels affects the city as a whole. So people just think about voting on the national level for the president and a vice president or Congress or senators, but they sometimes forget how important it is to vote on the local election where you are and the cities that you reside, and how that affects just having your street lights come on, or having your street lights replaced, or safety concerns, your police department, your local police department, and so many things, our libraries, our, safety in our communities, our schools, everything. All of that affects how you vote on the local level.
Yes, they do. Very, very important. And as we're talking about voting, we have some wonderful guests tonight, and we are going to discuss voting and the elections with them. So, of course, first, to talk about voting, we are going to have Chris from HeadCount. So welcome, Chris from HeadCount. We also have Kathy from the League of Women Voters. And then next we have LaDawne from the DC Board of Elections. So welcome, Chris, welcome, Kathy, and welcome, LaDawne. So nice to have you all here with us this evening.
Can you hear us? I hope you can, because you get a new car, you get a new car, you get a new car.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And, now that I have you guys here, let us just do a quick screenshot as we have everyone here. So go ahead. Give me a smile, everyone. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Thank you guys so much. Guys, let's talk about voting and, the importance of voting right now. Chris, let me take you first, because you're with HeadCount. And, here at Team Rayceen, we talk about HeadCount a lot. We promote HeadCount a lot because it's so important to make sure that people are vote ready, to know their voting status, to make sure that they're registered and they're pledging to vote. Let's talk a little bit about that, Chris.
Yeah, so we try to bring all the resources to you in one place, so you can check your registration status, you can actually register, you can find your polling places, you can request your ballots, all that on our website, as in any state as well. So here in the DMV, on any given night, we're registering people in DC, Maryland, Virginia. Back in the before times when we had concerts and stuff, we used to have people coming from out of town and registering too. Now we're just kind of.
Well, have you seen a rise with people registering, newly registered voters for the first time, or just some voters who just haven't voted? Or have you seen a big, because this is a very big election.
We've seen, it is always interesting when it's people that are registering for the first time that are not 18 that have been through a few cycles or quite a few cycles. We've definitely seen a really big rise in registrations. We've had actually a record year, and we've been digital since March. So we've registered more people this year than we've done any other year, which is just crazy to think about, because on a normal year, we're at 40 or 50 festivals in person in the summer, and it shows in cities across the country. But yeah, people are registering like crazy. Now we just need to get them to the polls like crazy, or to mail in their ballots and get those ballots counted like crazy.
Of course. So important. Hey, Kathy, tell me, give a little bit of background about the League of Women Voters for viewers who may not know.
Yeah, the League is 100 years old. We grew out of the suffrage movement. So we are one of the few surviving organizations from that suffrage movement 100 years ago. And we've learned a lot. So, they were politically quite savvy, our founders, but they weren't woke, shall I say.
Not woke.
How to say that, right? So we've learned a lot, and we've reached out to a lot of different communities that our founders did in the last 100 years, and we're proud of that. So like Chris and HeadCount, the League helps empower voters and defend democracy. So we reach out to all eligible voters, and our goal is that they each have the confidence to vote and be comfortable and confident in the choices they make and understand the issues on the ballot and the candidates. And the League has a website, vote411.org, which does a lot of the same things that HeadCount does as well, in terms of having links for registration and updating that registration, finding out where the polling locations are, what times they're open, and all of that. And we also have a complete listing of all the candidates on the ballot, and we have nonpartisan information. The candidates answer questions that we have posed about issues that affect the voters. And this is available for any address in the US. So it's kind of fun. Like, my family's in upstate New York, and I can put in their address and say, oh, you know, did you see what this guy said about this? Or this one didn't even submit his background, and well, I wouldn't vote.
And when you talk about what's important, especially in the district, when we talk about the Board of Elections, and most people are receiving their ballots now, and they're receiving them early. So could LaDawne, from Board of Elections, talk to us more about how important it is once you receive your ballot and to fill it out and take it to the proper place?
Yes, thanks so much for inviting me. It's very important that our voters know their options. Of course, all of our registered voters will receive a mail-in ballot to their address on file. Once they receive it and vote that ballot, we encourage them to choose the most comfortable way for them to return their ballot to us. We have several options. One, of course, is using our mail ballot drop boxes, which are located across the city. They are unlocked and available for use. Our voters can safely walk up to our mail ballot drop box and deposit their ballot. They can use any box in the city. It's not determined by your address. You can go anywhere. So if you're out and about shopping, out and about doing your daily routines, choose any mail ballot drop box. Voters can also return their ballots to us in person at any vote center or super vote center, should they wish to do so. There will be a line dedicated for ballot returns only, so you don't have to stand where everyone else is waiting to actually vote in person. They can stand in a line specifically designated for returning your ballot. So those are some options. And if you decide you want to use the United States Postal Service, feel free. That's an option as well.
Oh, good. Because I know so many people were confused in the District of Columbia. When they got them, they didn't know where to take them. Should I wait? Should I hold? You know, I was telling them, if you have to, run to the post office. Put it there. If you don't want to put it in the post office box on your corner, go directly to the post office, or go to the Board of Elections, call, and they will tell you where to go, or go directly there. You know, so that's so important. And then folks were getting confused when they saw the lock on the ballot box.
Right. So that lock, just for clarification, the lock remains so that we can only have access to that box. So if we were to remove the lock, someone else can place the lock on there and they would have access to it. So we're trying to avoid any of those issues. So the lock is on there, but the ballot drop boxes are unlocked, and they have been unlocked since Monday morning. So we encourage people to take advantage of that safe, convenient return option.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before we let you guys go, we want to have you guys, talk about anything that you want when it comes to, information or plugging anything that you just want to do. So I'll go ahead and begin with Kathy. Kathy, are you unmuted? Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. There we go. Sorry, I didn't realize I was still muted. I was going to say this is a great screen to see. The League website is lwvdc.org, and there are links to join. There are links to donate. There are links to buy a suffrage sash or a vote necklace. And most importantly, to learn all about what the League does. We work on statehood, full rights for DC, as well as our voter services. And vote411.org is completely bilingual in English and in Spanish, as I said, for any address in the US. So we encourage you to check out Vote 411 for any and all voter information that you need.
Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you, Rayceen, and the team for inviting the League to participate. Thank you.
All righty.
For the work that you do.
Yes, yes. And LaDawne, tell me a little bit more about this image, because I put it up just so we can have it longer so our viewers can see.
Okay, thanks so much. So these are key important dates that our voters should be aware of. As you can see, October 2nd, ballots were mailed. So ballots have been mailed. They will continue to go out in the mail to our voters. Another date that we want to point out is the October 13th date. That is the date for the deadline date for registering to vote via mail, email, or fax. Okay, so of course we do offer same day registration for our voters at our vote centers and super vote centers. But to do so in advance, to prepare and to make sure you're ready and you have your vote plan together, we encourage everyone to register to vote by October 13th. And of course, October 27th is an important date. That is when early voting will begin here in the District of Columbia. So if you wish to vote at any vote center or super vote center, please know that October 27th begins early voting. So these are just important. I want everyone to make sure they remember. And of course, you can also find this information in your voter guide, which has gone out. So hopefully people have started to receive them. And if not, you can also check our website for additional information, dcboe.org.
Thank you so much. And Chris, last but by no means least, let us go with you. What do you want our viewers to know?
Well, so I put this together, but these bit.lys actually go to the DC Board of Elections. So I've already seen all the important stuff there. But if any of the guests and stuff are not in DC, you can always text Team Rayceen 2 words 40649, and there you can register, verify, or any of that in any state.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. And thank you guys for what you are doing to make sure that, citizens in this district, and I mean in the wider nation, are able to have their voices be heard. Thank you for joining us this evening. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. See you. Next, we are going to have a conversation with others about local elections and about the general elections as they are coming up in less than a month. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it, Rayceen?
I can't believe it. And make sure you do the census.
Make sure, listen, so important. So important to do the census. So let us bring on some new people for our next segment. So we are going to discuss local politics, as I said, and the presidential election with several special guests. So let's first welcome Team Rayceen, MC and East of the River correspondent, Monique Diop. Welcome, Monique, honey. She's a friend of mine, not a friend of yours.
It's my friend.
Hello, Monique. Monique, you're on mute.
We love Monique.
See, y'all done missed everything I said.
So great to have you here, love. We are doing great. Next up, we are going to welcome from Politidope Inc., Matt and Jasmine. Welcome, Matt and Jasmine to the floor.
Politidope.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Unmute yourself.
Oh, hi.
Hello, guys. So great to have you here. And we are going to have next Javi Rodriguez. Come on, Javi, come to the floor. We're so excited to have Javi here with us this evening. Hello, Javi.
Hi, Abby.
Hey, Abby. How's it going?
Good.
Hey, everyone.
Hello, Javi. Nice to have you here. And last but by no means least, we will have the DC council member whose decision it is to not run for re-election and has led to more than over 20 people appearing. Listen, 24 people appearing on the 2020 ballot for the at-large council member race. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. David Grosso. Welcome.
Hey.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure having you all here with us. And at this moment, right before we get into the discussion, let us do a screenshot once again. So give me a smile. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you guys so much. And thanks so much for joining us. So go ahead, Ray. Go ahead, Rayceen.
Question. Oh my God, I'm so excited. First of all, Councilmember Grosso, did you think that stepping down would cause such a stir? I mean, it's like 125 people running for your seats.
Well, Rayceen, I wasn't sure whether or not it would or wouldn't, but I'm glad that it did, and the reason being is because we now have public financing, which allows people to run regardless of whether or not they have connections to developers or some rich people somewhere. And so people can step up and put their hat in the ring, and I appreciate that. And I love the fact that there are this many people running. I think it's great for our city and great for democracy.
Yes.
I love it. Wait, let me ask you something. I might be stirring the pot a bit, but are you endorsing any of the candidates this for the race?
I am endorsing Christina Henderson. Christina, as you know, Christina, I had the pleasure of her working with me in my office for 4 years. I know she's incredibly smart. I know she's a critical thinker, and she will make a huge difference for the District of Columbia. So I have endorsed her wholeheartedly.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, let me chat with Jasmine and Matt. Jasmine and Matt, we've had you on before, and we have interviews with you. So the viewers out there, you can check our Team Rayceen YouTube channel for the interview with Jasmine and Matt, as well as with Christina, who David just mentioned. Jasmine and Matt, tell us a little bit about Politidope.
Sure. So Politidope is an organization that we founded in 2018, and it was inspired by just a lot of feelings of what more can we do after the 2016 election. And so what we found is that a lot of people, even before they turn 18, hadn't really learned about politics and what it really means for their lives. We learn about the branches of government, but we don't really learn about what my state legislator is supposed to do and how they're supposed to represent me. So we started this organization to mentor young kids starting at 13 so that we can start teaching them about the political process so that before they're even 18, before they can even register to vote, they already know what the deal is and they already know what to do.
Wonderful, wonderful. And thanks so much for what you're doing here in the community. It's so beautiful to have, young people being so hyped and, really wanting others to be a part of the electoral process. And speaking of young people who are doing that, Javi Rodriguez. And once again, you can find the interview with Javi right here on the Team Rayceen YouTube channel. Hello, Javi. How are you doing?
I'm doing blessed and highly favored. Excited for tonight's debate.
Of course. I mean, it's going to be something. It's going to be something. Javi, I follow you on Twitter and you are really, 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 really motivated. Tell me about that and let the people know a little bit more about what you do.
Sure. So I'm Javi Rodriguez, he, him, his. I serve as the Deputy State Director for Youth for LULAC. So that's the League of United Latin American Citizens. It's the oldest Latin American organization that deals with civic engagement. We have different boards throughout the country. So I directly work with DC, where I belong to the Young Professionals Council. And we do mentoring, peer engagement, and support. So we'll be partnering with the Latin Youth Center here in Columbia Heights. And we just really like to get our students involved civically. Like, what does it mean to be civically engaged? What is the history of the Latinx diaspora, and also the intersection between the African and Latinx diaspora? And also work within our school system as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I want to talk a little bit about local elections and local politics. So I want to talk to Monique, because Monique is an ANC, in Ward 8. So let's talk a little bit about local politics and the importance of that, and, your experience right now being the ANC in Ward 8.
Well, right now it's 2020, so everything about 2020 is just overwhelming. But one thing that I do like is the presidential election. So this time we find out more people actually vote for these type of elections. And I feel bad because the last time we had votes in Ward 8, we didn't even make 8%. So we hope that more people will vote. And, listen to people like Politidope and also do Javi. We definitely need some type of education within our system of just what it means to vote, who you should vote for, and also to have the voting plan. This is our ballot. The ballot has 10 questions. Don't forget to turn it over, because that's where the ANCs are. So yeah, vote for me in the back. But also too, when we fill out these ballots, what are we voting for? Who are these people? What do we do? So we do need to educate a lot of people in our community, and local elections affects you a lot. Are your streets getting paved? Who's feeding your children at school? Who's your police captain? All of these are local information that you have to vote for. So it's very important that you cast your vote, especially for a place like DC, because our vote is very powerful here. And you do make changes when you make that ballot vote. So please vote, turn your ballot somewhere.
Well, could I ask you a question to each of you? This has been a very hot topic, especially in the District of Columbia. Are you for statehood? Are you for the DC becoming the 51st state? I'll take it to Monique, then I'll take it to David, then Javier, and Politidope. So, Monique.
Definitely. I'm a DC resident, but also too, I'm a United States citizen. How come I'm paying all these taxes and no one's really representing me
no taxation,
over there in the House?
representation.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, we need to have a vote too, and we need to have representation. I think about all the things that Congresswoman has done, even without a vote. She has had so much influence and she's changed a lot of things, but she really doesn't have a vote. And we really should have a vote here in DC. As big as we are, as much influence that we have, we need to be the 51st state.
How about you, Councilmember Grosso?
Well, obviously, I think it would be incredibly important. 2 senators, imagine the power that they have, and that we don't have that right now puts us at a real disadvantage. Just with the CARES Act, we were shorted something like $300 million in support because they treated us like we weren't tax-paying citizens who fight in the wars, who engage with the federal government. I got the opportunity to work for Congresswoman Norton for 2 years as her chief counsel. And I can tell you, to see how effective she is without the vote, I think the reason they won't give us statehood is because they're afraid of how effective she would be if she actually could vote. And so I'm all for it.
How about you, Javier?
I am a proponent of statehood both for DC and Puerto Rico. I was born and raised on the island, and it is just so sad to see that 3 million people don't have representation in their federal government. And we saw it from the hurricane back in 2016, and then 2017, 18 with the earthquakes. And even now, right, like we're missing infrastructure where our American citizens are dying. And then we look at towards DC, it's the same thing. We're seeing businesses close down, things that we could have had funding allocated, just left to the means of other individuals. So it's really appalling to see that as a country that talks about everyone has access to vote and have representation, you have individuals that literally pay a ridiculous amount of income taxes. Half my paycheck goes to those taxes, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, statehood is definitely the way to be respected and represented in our republic.
How about Politidope?
I don't think you can have a conversation about being for democracy and be against DC statehood. Yeah. One person, one vote. And, we'll have to, in order for that to actually happen for the people who are listening in right now, you can't just vote this year. You got to vote next year, the year after that, because that'll take constitutional amendment, which is going to take the political power behind that, and us understanding that we need to make sure that people have political representation. So it only happens if you don't only get registered to vote right now, but then you use that vote next year, the year after that, the year after that, the year after that.
Very, very important. And, Javi touched on something when he mentioned Puerto Rico and, the lack of aid that happened when it came to the hurricane. And I want to use that to transition into the presidential election. We've just gone through, we're coming to the tail end of 4 years of a presidency. And, it's been something. It's been something. And, we are ramping up to November 1st. David, tell me what your feelings are right now on the presidential election and how you are feeling after that debate or whatever that was a few weeks ago.
I think it's important for us all to remember that he is who he is. This man has never pretended to be anything other than the person that he is. He's been a racist. He's been a white supremacist. He's been that his whole life. And the reality is you get what you ask for in life. And our country's worse off for it. I think the electoral college issue needs to be reformed in this country because that he did not win the popular vote in this country. So I'm scared, honestly, and I don't say that very much, but I'm afraid of the next month. I think that this guy could do anything to hold on to power, and anything to keep oppressing the poor, keep oppressing our immigrant community, our LGBTQ community, trying to make us feel like we are less than a full person. And I think that's something we should all be worried about. So I think we need to vote. I think people need to vote early. They need to make sure their vote counts. And then we need to fight for our rights. And I think that means we need to go on the streets and we need to use our First Amendment rights in a responsible way, but we never stop screaming for our rights. And whether he wins or loses, we have to do that. And that's the challenge. And, hopefully he loses. I hope that the man whose name I won't say loses. But, we were in this same position 4 years ago, thinking that Hillary Clinton had it in the bag. She was going to win this thing. I remember that was my reelection night. So I had a party all set up. It was 2016. I was running for reelection. And we had these people all come out to the bar to celebrate. And you just saw the numbers start coming in on the national election. I had to end my party early because I wasn't going to have people crying at my party. And so we all went home and cried.
Yes.
And I woke up that morning sad, and I was going to take the next day off, but I didn't because I felt like we all had to get to work and we had to go out there and fight back on this guy. And we're going to keep doing that. And hopefully Biden and Harris can pull this out and we can get this incredibly awful man out of office.
I will say this. I like how you touched on that because I remember this time really well. I was still at Howard and, in the newsroom because I'm a journalism student when I was there. And, so all day, the election day, we're going out, we're doing interviews, we're in the newsroom, we're doing that. And I remember there were two articles. The person who was writing the main article for, whomever won the election, they were working on that Hillary Clinton one so well. And they were like, the next one was there. And she was like, I'm not really working on it too much. I just want to make sure that this one is perfect. And then as the night went on, she was like, girl, let me just look at this next article and make sure that. And then at a certain point, everyone in the newsroom was like, I'm just going to go to bed. Javi, tell me something. The vice presidential debates are tonight. You brought it up first. Tell me, what are you looking forward to in the debates? What do you hope to see? And what difference do you want to see with this one as compared to the first presidential debate?
That's so many questions. I'm excited. Well, this to me is where Senator Harris thrives, right? Like we've seen her in committee hearings, we've seen her in addresses, but when it comes to debate, it's just inspiring to watch her. The way that she analyzes so much comments, is able to then like break it down and then also come back with facts. And she isn't someone that minces words, right? She's very succinct and very like to the point with her words. I'm also excited just to see the first Black woman and someone who is also of Indian descent take the main stage, a daughter of immigrants, right? Like this will probably be the most consequential VP debate that we've had in the history of our country. So just to witness that is in of itself incredible. And also, I think that unlike our president, I think that the VP doesn't get placed in the spotlight that much. So she has the opportunity to criticize the person who chairs the coronavirus task force, right? The one who's supposed to have been leading the task force, who also failed to protect the president from, well, personal accountability aside. I think she has an opportunity to really show the large cracks that this campaign has, and just, for lack of better words, the mess and the train wreck that it is. And I just want to see her thrive. And the response from young girls and women in our country, I think after tonight, just seeing her there, it's like the perfect thing for me tonight.
I agree. And Monique, as someone, who, has run for office before, is currently in office, and also happens to be a Black woman. Tell me about what it's like to see, Kamala, Kamala, sorry, I don't want to mispronounce her name, running and being on the debate tonight, and what it would be like if she won, and, being the first woman of color being in a position like that.
Well, I mean, unlike so many other people, I'm not surprised because Black women, we're fabulous. Let's just say it. Yes. So, with her coming up and stepping up, it's just something that everybody knows that she can do. When we sit up at home and we watch this with our little girls and even our little boys, they're going to see that this is the power that we all have. And, because of situations here in America, we've always been the underdog, but we're not. So it is time for us to step up. We have powerful women all over. And one of the powerful women is like Muriel Bowser. So, it's not like it can't be done. So I'm just really happy that she has this platform and that we can see the brightness that we really are. So I'm really looking forward to it tonight and just cheering her on. And I know that she's going to do well and just, what I'm saying? So I'm happy. Yeah.
I love that. Jasmine and Matt, now, this question is a little bit harder. You're going to kind of have to dig a little bit deep. So let me ask. Now, let's say November 4th, November 5th, the election does not go the way that the majority of the persons right here on this call would hope it goes. Tell me, what do you think are the next steps? And what do you, how do you see, this country recovering and moving forward? And tell me what would you guys like, what would be the role all of us here as citizens can play to make sure that, things turn out in a acceptable way? I don't know.
I think much of the comments of everybody else who's gone before us, I was hoping that we didn't have to answer the same question because everybody's pretty much said what I was thinking on the first thing. On the question that you just asked, our marching orders are the same D thing we should be doing whether or not we win this election or not. And that's part of why I launched my own campaign for the Virginia House of Delegates for next year during July of this year. Because far too often as a movement and as currently I'm a Democrat, I don't know about everybody else on the call, we take these presidential elections as if we elect a monarch, as if we put forward our entire philosophy and it'll be just self-evident and just it will come to pass just because we think it will. We gotta get out here and do the same D thing we were gonna do whether Biden wins or loses. That next day, we've gotta run candidates in primaries, we gotta run candidates in general elections, we gotta vote every year for ANC, for dog catcher in Iowa, for whatever it needs to be, to make sure that we got people who we trust to make the decisions that really do impact our lives.
Yeah, and I think what will be interesting is that for the 2016 was a wake-up call for a lot of people. So a lot of people who may not have been activated in 2016 are really activated in 2020. And if they experience that heartbreak that a lot of us who put in a lot of work in 2016 experience, that can't be a stopping point. You got to keep working. And like Matt said, he has a race next year. Those local elections are still happening regardless of who's elected for president. And those local legislators are making big decisions. So being engaged after on November 4th is going to be important, win or lose.
Very, very important.
A question for Politidope. So I really don't know too much about the Electoral College, but I believe that DC has 3 of them.
Yes.
Okay. So, but they do count, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know, they thinking we're not a state, and I'm like, no, your vote does count. So we need to know.
But we've got to get rid of the Electoral College.
I think so too.
Because places like Virginia, now that we've moved out of swing state territory, they don't come to us anymore. So effectively, Jasmine and my votes don't matter. And if you live in Wyoming, you know, David knows very much about this. When you're running a campaign, votes cost something, and you can, you know, for cost per vote out in Wyoming is like 10, 15 times less than if you were in California. And we kind of create those structural inequities in our system. So we've absolutely got to, that was not the question Krylios asked, but thank you for letting me jump in, because we got to get rid of the Electoral College. So it matters more than simply 3 Electoral College votes that people pretty much are calling in the bag.
Listen, as we're about to round it up, before I have you guys do any shameless plugs, I just want you guys to give, you know, final thoughts and final words. I'll begin with Councilmember Grosso.
Well, I am so happy, Rayceen, that you're running again. You know, you're just up the road from where I am in Brookland, so we're not that far. And you improve your community, improves our community, and maybe we can build bridges between Brentwood and Brookland soon, which I would love to do.
How about that?
You know, I just want to make a shameless plug here, if I can, for Vote 16. You know, the last couple of years, we fought hard to try to get 16-year-olds the right to vote in the District of Columbia. Mm-hmm. I think it would make a huge difference in engagement and involvement from a very young age, get people in the habit of voting. You know, we lost that by 1 vote. I guess you all know that I'm not running for re-election because there's 150 people running for my seat. But I also believe in stepping down when it's the right time, and that, you know, it's important to give up power in order to lift up other people. And I believe in that. And I hope people will support Christina Henderson, because she really can take what I've done and continue to move it forward, to push for racial equity, to push for human rights in the District of Columbia. And I think that's really important. Thank you for having me on the show. I really love this show. You know,
Thank you.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Jasmine and Matt, final words and anything you want to plug.
Final words are, you know, we really have to leave it all on the table. It's not enough just to making sure that we get out and we go vote. You have to text those friends, those family members, anyone who you have doubts of that you think might not show up at the polls. Like, just reach out to them. I know it's hard, it can be awkward, it cause a little fight, but you want to really feel like you did everything that you can, so that after the election, you're not waking up feeling like, man, I wish I could have done more, because it really doesn't feel good. So please make sure you're in the word, you're having those tough conversations. We just got to do everything that, shameless plug, please follow Politidope Inc. Instagram.
Nothing.
Okay.
Politidope.
Thank you, guys.
Politidope on Twitter. I hear
Thank
Javi's big on Twitter, so I'm gonna follow you. That's what I'm gonna shameless plug, Javi.
There we go. I love it. Javi, go ahead. Final words and shameless plug.
Oh yeah, final word. I think for me, Jasmine and Matt touched on this. It's not just ending it on November 3rd. It's also the work moving forward, being informed on your local issues, because obviously that has direct impact. So I'm a big proponent of focusing on your personal, local, and immediate, specifically when we talk about elections. And if we're going to be advocating for communities, ensuring that we're uplifting those who aren't, the space isn't made for them or open to them. So it's not speaking for communities, it's speaking with communities and bringing them towards that platform. And my shameless plug for me, so LULAC, we have an event next week celebrating the end of Hispanic Heritage Month or Latinx Heritage Month. So my TIEMPO, BUENA, CARA, which we'll talk about Latinx resilience and looking ahead. So we'll have 3 awesome panelists that will share their experience within civic engagement, but also speak to our youth about the importance of getting involved and what does it mean to be civically engaged.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Javi, for being here with us. Next, let us have final words from a friend of ours, Monique Diop.
So I want to bring it back to the local elections, specifically the ANCs. I know that a lot of ANCs are out there running and with their campaigns, and they have all this platform that they're going to run for. Let me tell you a secret. You work for the people. We are servants of the people. I know that everybody should come in with their own agenda, but let me tell you right now, your community will tell you what they need to be done, and you better listen. Because like they voted you in, they can vote you back out. And it's really important that we as ANC commissioners listen to our community and kind of do what they prefer us to do. I know that we have our own agenda, but when it comes up to us and then they're in our ear, we have to serve the community that we live in. So I just want to give that plug out. And also too, I just want to say that I got an award from Cure the Streets, Community Champion Award. Yes.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you so much. So I want to just thank my VIs, which are my violent interrupters in the Bellevue area, because we work well together and I really hope that they continue to stay. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. It has been such a pleasure having this chat with you guys. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys watch and enjoy the debates later. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. See you. We will. All righty. So now, let me put Javi. See you, Javi. All right, great. So now it's just us, Rayceen, and we've come down to the end of another First Wednesday. So we thank all our guests for joining us. For more information about them, please click on the links in the description below. Lastly, before we go, I just want to remind our viewers about a couple things. First of all, subscribe to the Team Rayceen channel on YouTube. Subscribing is totally free. And if you have a Gmail account, subscribing only takes 1 click. Videos include interviews, vlogs, and more. And new content is added every week. Now, please join us next month for our wonderful, beautiful season finale of the Ask Rayceen Show. Can you believe it? Oh my God. Rayceen, how does it feel to be here for the season finale of the Ask Rayceen Show? You're muted.
I feel overwhelmed. I'm speechless.
Yes, it's going to be so good. You know, we'll be streaming from an undisclosed location. You know, we won't be having guests coming over, but we will be on site. I will be seeing you, and you know, we are a part of each other's, you know, quarantine family. So we've seen each other multiple times. So we will be together for the season finale of the Ask Rayceen Show. I know people have been waiting for us to come back, so you can join us at 7 p.m. Eastern live on November 4th, 2020. And we will have live music by the one, the only Nia Simmons. Oh my God, I cannot wait. It is going to be so wonderful and so beautiful. And you know, such a great way to end out this year. Such a great way to end out this year. So join us on November 4th, 2020 on Facebook and Twitter. The live stream begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, the season finale of the Ask Rayceen Show. And remember, you can send us donations of any amount via Cash App at #AskRayceen. You can also do it at PayPal at askrayceen@gmail.com. Now, we want to remind you guys to please take the Black LGBTQ Community Survey by October 30th, 2020. Click on the link in the description or visit Rayceen.com. Rayceen, do you have anything else to share with our viewers before we go?
Doesn't matter who you vote for. Your vote matters. Your vote counts. Utilize your strength in voting. When you vote, you take your ancestors into the room. You carry the spirit of your forefathers with you. It is your duty to vote. It is your ability to lift up those who are no longer with you, those who made it so possible that you could stand in your light today. Vote like your life depends on it. Do the census because each person counts. It is important to fill out the census. To my LGBT folks especially, and to folks of color, please take the opportunity to fill out the Black LGBT survey because it allows organizations and companies to support us, endeavors like the Ask Rayceen show and so many others, but it supports their LGBTQIA employees. So please make it possible for all of us when you do the survey, do the census, and you vote.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Rayceen. And I just want to say to our viewers who are watching tonight that right here on our channel is very, very important to vote. And it's also important to know who you're voting for and what they stand for and what you agree with, especially in your localities. So check out the Team Rayceen Productions General Election and Nominees 2020 playlist right here on our Team Rayceen YouTube channel. You can find interviews with the at-large candidates, with the candidates who are running in the different wards, the State Board of Education candidates, the ANC candidates, and we even have candidates from out of state who we have interviews with if you are watching from one of those states. So go ahead and check out our general election nominees and candidates 2020 playlist to find out about those candidates who are running in your localities. Thank you so much. Rayceen, close us out.
To viewers, thank you for watching.